Hey ho, hello people. Today is the fast replay from the live show on Art Joy is Sharing. And if you don't know about Art Joy is Sharing, come and check us out on Facebook. This is the April mood board that we're working with for today, for this month. And Shell and I do a live show each Thursday, 10:30 Central Time. What is that? 8:30 Pacific? That's AM. Yeah. Anyway, these were pictures that I had taken on vacation, and then this is the Pick-a-Stick Challenge, which is another challenge that we have over on Art Joy Sharing. And we're just talking to the crowd, getting warmed up, talking about things that we're working on currently. I've got a bunch of stuff out on my desk. This is my paint palette that I'll be using for this project, and I pulled some paints and papers. Now, in Art Joy Sharing, we have all kinds of painted papers that people have done and submitted a digital copy of for the group, and they're free to use because, our people are friendly and we share. So I was making this wrap journal with some leather, and it was sitting on my desk, and so I was just showing people how I was going to use some of those papers for the inserts in that journal. And how I shopped my stash, I go around and find stencils and paint and, whatever it is I'm going to pull out and use while we do a live video, because I don't have time to run around my studio and think about what I'm going to do as I'm creating, because it's a live show, right? So I'm just putting some paint out on my palette, um, finishing cleaning up some tools that I had soaking, and talking about these watercolors from Emerald Creek that I'd put on this uh, canvas board. And these are some dies that I had cut using some of those papers and made envelope out of, and just play stuff that I got out on my desk that I just thought I'd share with the audience, because it was there, and why not show it, right? That's what Art Joy Sharing is about, is sharing and enjoying and talking about all kinds of projects with other artists. So I am putting some lilac and coral out on my palette. I'm going to mix up some white into this eggplanty color, because I don't really have a lilac, and I'm going to add some blue to that because lilac has a little more blue in it. Just trying to get to the tone that's on the Pick-a-Stick Challenge. And for the mood board, and there's this ceramic fish. This was a tile in a restaurant that I visited when I was in Florida, and I just thought it was cool, so I took a picture. And pictures of flowers on the patio where I was staying, and the ocean, and the causeway going over to the other island, and yeah, just showing the things I just cleaned up, my brush and my brayer, and how clean they come if you use a little bit of Murphy's oil soap. Saying a lot today, I see. So these are some of the papers, and I printed some of them on front and back so that I can, make my signatures for my book out of that. But I'm pulling out some papers that have the colorations in them for today's project. This is one that Shell had made. I think there's one of mine, and I think I pull out one of Becky McCauley's, and I don't know who else, but there's lots of people's in there. There's like 250 different papers. Pretty cool, right? And because they're digital, you can just download and print whatever you want. I also created a PDF that has quite a few of them in there. These were from the original AJOS artists because they had started this whole thing off before we went to the large group. There's a group of artists that contribute their time and efforts to doing videos and using the prompts and all that sort of thing for Art Joy sharing. And so I try to provide them these things in advance and get them working on things before it goes to the large group. So let me just give a shout out to some of these people because many of them have been contributing for quite some time, and I think they deserve some applause and some recognition from people that have been watching all of this transpire. So let me say, first off, that it's a rather large group, so let me just run through them quickly. Vicki Brown, Shell C, Cindy Signs Utter, Carla McCants, Laura Gregain, Jamie Lynn, Susan Taylor Brown, Eleni S. Art Stuff, Michelle Mitchell, Margelle Shelley, Sally Van Nuys, Wendy Lee Ewing, Nicole Leon, Jacqueline Jimerson, Bea Grobe, Hanny Trump, Kylie Koo, Andrea Kidman, Almut Olson, Carly, S Creatives, Blue Kiss My Creative, and Beth Broadway. So I just want to say thank you to any of these contributors because, you know, they have YouTube channels and they have taken some of the prompts and challenges and things that we've thrown out there and they've done videos for the group. And I think that's very special. And if you want to join me in doing that, then, you know, private message me, send me a message and let me know, hey, I'm kind of interested. I've got a YouTube channel and I would like to, you know, do what you're doing and help the community with challenges and growth and uh, learning about these different things in art. So what I'm doing is I have a 5x7 art panel. These are just canvas art panels, very cheap, inexpensive. And I'm taking some of those papers that were created by all the different people in Art Joy is Sharing, and I'm gluing them down. I'm using some matte medium and my collage brush, and I'm just applying the matte medium to the board and to the back of the paper and getting this whole thing covered. So let's speed this up because I'm just gluing paper right now. Now, if you are interested in seeing this video in its entirety, plus what Shell did, you can go to Art Joy of Sharing, which is my sister channel that I share with Shell C, and where we do our live shows each week on Thursday. You can always join us live if you want to, but that's where everything is in real time. We do an hour-and-a-half show each week, and you know we're there for you to answer questions, all of that sort of thing. So, you know, if you really want to get up close and personal and chat, that's where you can do it. You know, you can join a Facebook group, you can ask questions in the Facebook group, all of that, but it's not quite the same as chatting with people in the community in a live show. So that's why we do it live each week rather than just a quick video. So I'm just about finished putting these papers down. And once I get the papers down, I'm going to pick a stencil out and I'm going to be doing some stenciling over it. But I will have to dry this down a bit because that glue is still wet. And I'm really liking the colors and the texture and everything that's in this background. These papers are phenomenal to work with. And these are not really colors that I normally would pick for a background, so this was kind of fun, a little bit different for me. But, you know, it's funny how Shell and I always seem to pick colors that are similar. We rotate off between the mood board and the pick a stick challenge each month. Who puts it together? And so each month, you know, one month I'll do the mood board, and then the next month Shell will do it. And no matter what one we're doing, the pick a stick or the mood board, we always seem to have colors that complement each other, and we don't collaborate on that at all. We just go ahead and pick. So it's kind of funny the way things turn out. I'm just showing some of the shells now that I picked up off the beach when I was in Florida. The pictures there are from Florida, my recent vacation, and so I wanted to show some of the things that I picked up that I will be using in my art in the future. So there's the background all finished off. The stencil is a Stencil Girl product stencil, of course. I've been on the design team for Stencil Girl for a couple of years now. And this one is, I think it's a Gwen LaFleur Stencil Girl koi stencil. So I'm going to grab some gold gesso because, you know, I really like the goldfish, the gold koi. And I'm thinking about that, putting it down on some paper. And then as I'm doing that, I realized, oh, I'm supposed to be using those papers from the group. So I grab another one of those printed out papers and I'm moving some of that gold over to that printed paper. I'll dry that down and then I'll stencil the fish on. So once I get those stenciled, and I'm just using some black archival ink to do that with, I will be cutting those out and placing them on my background. And this is a real quick, easy way of doing it. Now, stencils have these bridges in them, and so I will use a pen and close up all the bridges, or at least try to. Sometimes, you know, as I'm working and talking, I miss something and I have to go back and fix it later. But aren't those fish cool? I just think they're really cool. So get all three of those down, and then I will cut them out. So I'm just going to finish drawing and cutting and put on a little bit of music, and I'll be back. Okay, so we've got them all glued down, and now I'm just going to apply some coloration on the top. I want to get some of the metallic sheen on there to give the gills and scales on the fish a little bit of glimmer. So I'm going to use some gelatos and some Neocolor 2 and some crayons, just a number of different things here, and apply some of those colors for dimension. I'll also use some pens, some Posca pens, that sort of thing. But, you know, we do have to do a little bit of line drawing, and then I'll also do some shading around the fish, and I will use some of the Seth Apter glazing products to add some shine to the finished piece also. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you come and join us on Art Joy of Sharing. It's a great community, great place to share your artwork and get inspired by others. So we invite you. What you need to do is once you click the join, you need to, oh dear, I was talking to somebody there. Once you click the join, answer the questions so that we know you're a real person and not just some robot, and we'll get you added to the group. So thanks for being with me today, and stick around. I'll give you some parting shots, and we will see you again next week for Art Joy of Sharing in the live show on the same channel by the same name. Thanks again for your kind comments, for your likes, shares, subscribe, and remember to click that bell for notifications. Bye now.